And here we are at the first of the year. Are you ready to attack this whole year? What's 2008 going to look like for you? Are you going to make the decisions to win? Are you going to make the decisions in your money, in your relationships, taking care of your body, in your spiritual walk? Are you going to make the decisions it takes to win? See, you have a choice. This is not communist Russia. This is not some kind of Iranian dictatorship. You have a choice of what you're going to do with your life. You are free. You have liberty. You live in the most powerful economy the world has ever known. What are you going to do this year? What is it you're going to do to win? And you need to write that down. If you don't write it down, it's a wish. It's a dream. You know, dreaming is a good thing, but only if it leads somewhere. Dreaming that leads somewhere starts to be called vision. And right after that, somebody will call it a goal. See, a goal is a vision with work clothes on. And this is the time of the year when people sit down and decide what they're going to do with their lives. It's the time of the year, and you can play around with this and call them New Year's resolutions. But that, most people, their New Year's resolutions are already kaput. And we're not even getting started good, So, if you want to call a New Year's resolution, that's fine. But I want something more resolute than a resolution. I want something you do. Something that you break down. That you lay out there. That's specific. That's measurable. That has a time frame. These are called goals. I'd like to lose a little weight this year in 2008. Well, you won't. You're not going to lose any weight. Not with that. I want to lose 25 pounds by May 1. Now we're talking. Now we've gotten specific and we gave it a time frame. I'd like to get in a little better financial condition, like help my net worth a little bit. You're not going to. It's not going to happen. I want to pay off $25,000 in debt by December. Well, now you got a plan. You got 12 months. That's pretty easy, isn't it? It's a touch over $2,000 a month. Let's get with it. How are we going to find $2,000 a month? We're going to, eat beans and rice and beans, and deliver pizzas. We're going to do what it takes to win. We're going to get the income up and the out go down. We're going to live like no one else for a year and get rid of $25,000 of debt by December. That's how you're going to do it, right? You start, when you get specific and you give it a time frame, you can start breaking it down into manageable parts and make it happen. 25 pounds by May 1. There you go. Is that 5 months? Is that right? Did I do that right? Is that 5 months into 25 pounds? Did I do that right? Is that 5 pounds a month? Did I do that right? Is that a little over a pound a week? Can you do that? Yes. That's really doable. People do a lot more than that, don't they? 25,000 by December? You can do that. That's doable. You can do that working extra jobs. Most of you listening can pull that deal off. You're not going to have a life during the year, but the idea here is to get your life back. In both of these cases, it's live like no one else in order to live like no one else. It's spend like no one else so later you can spend and give like no one else. It's eat like no one else so you look like no one else in this culture. You're going to have to decide. You're going to exercise like no one else so you feel so much better than everyone else. You're going to invest in your spiritual walk. You're going to actually read a book this year and grow your intellect. The average millionaire reads a nonfiction book a month. There's an idea. Now, I'm not against fiction. I read fiction too, but I don't count those. That's candy. I don't count that in my calorie intake intellectually. Caloric intake has got to do with nonfiction. You want a better marriage, then get to reading. You want better kids, then get to reading. You want a better money situation, get to reading. There's lots of great books out there, and I wrote a couple of them. Get to reading. You want to get your body under control? Get to reading. This is how it works, and you're not going to find it on the television. I'm sorry. I'm on the television every night on Fox Business Network, and it's a good show for an hour. But let me just tell you, you're not going to find this stuff on the television. The stuff you're going to find is in a book. Change your intellect. You change your knowledge. The renewing of your mind is how you transform your life. That's how you change and not end up looking like, feeling like, spending like, investing like, saving like everyone else. I don't want a marriage like everybody else. Everybody else, there's too much mediocrity in this culture. I want to rise above that. I don't want kids like everybody else. I don't want to be average. I don't want to be typical. I don't want to be normal. Normal's broke. Normal's broke and struggling, scared. I don't want to be normal. My goal is total weirdness. I want a level of performance going on in my life that just changes the quality of my life. And that's your year, right? So what are you going to do this year? You better write it down. Because, when you call someone a dreamer, that's not really a compliment, is it? I mean, if one of the guys, this buddy of mine, has got some teenage daughters like I do, some college students, he said, one of them, he said, if he came in and said, well, so-and-so's dating George, and George is a dreamer. Well, that's not a compliment, is it? That's the translation. George is lazy. All he does is sit around and wish for things to fly. He hopes roast duck flies in the window. He never goes and gets a gun, kills it, plucks it, and roasts it. That's what you got to do. You got to get up, leave the cave, kill something, and drag it home. And that's the difference in goal setting and dreaming. Your goals should start with a dream that form into a vision and break down into a goal. And they need to be in writing, and you need to do that. This is not, over a glass of champagne, a New Year's resolution. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about this is the time of year when you sit down and reassess where it is you're going and how the flip you're going to get there. And if you're watching the news channels, Fox and CNN, and listening to my buddies on talk radio, you're beginning to get the idea that somehow Washington's going to solve your problem, that one of these candidates has got the answer for your life. Please. There's some good ones running, and there's some schleps running. There's no question about that. But none of them got the answer to your life. Neither do I. You do. Go get you a mirror and look in it. You just found your solution. You also found your problem. So it's time to get after it. It's time to write it down. Your physical goal. What's your physical goal this year? What are you going to do? What are you going to look like? Write it down. You're going to run that marathon? That was my goal last year. I did it. Ran a couple of halves and a full. Don't think I'm going to run another full. But I think I'm sitting down doing my goals this week, but I think I'll probably run 4 halves this year. That's my goal. And I'm certainly going to break some personal records on that. And that's going to then break down into some training regimes, isn't it? Yes. And I'm going to lay out some financial goals for the year. I'm going to lay out some sales goals for the year. Some things I want to see accomplished around our organization and how we serve you and how we help you. I want to talk about that. I'm going to write that down. You need to write this stuff down, and then you need to break it down into bite-sized pieces and then develop it into daily activities that take you towards your large annual goal. But if you don't write it down, you're just a dreamer. That's why resolutions don't work. For years, I used a personal trainer. I don't anymore. We're still good friends. But for years, I did that, and he and I used to marvel. I was in a public gym, and we used to marvel at how by Valentine's Day, the 14th of December, 45 days into the new year, the gym was empty. I mean, right now, the first of the year, you can't even get near a gym, right? You go over there, there's a line on every machine. Everybody's a workout. Everybody wants to lift a weight now. Everybody wants to do some aerobics now. In 45 days, most of those people, the majority of those people, will lose their discipline. Why? They didn't write it down. They didn't have a set goal. They didn't lay out an exact step-by-step game plan on how they were going to achieve their goals. And handling your debt, getting out of debt, building some cash, investing to change your life and your family tree is no different. It's no different at all. It starts with annual goals. Starts with 5-year goals broken down into daily activities.